Chelsea are an absolute shambles. We've seen an absolute masterclass from Brighton overnight here. Who would have thought that Chelsea would be in this position now? What a season it's been for Todd Bowley. First season in charge, has spent £600 million. And it was absolutely just a piss take, really, that Brighton were able to do what they wanted to Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Who would have thought this would have been the case? Chelsea, such a historic club, known for being just winners on the fly every single season, always competing for Champions League football. They're still somehow in the Champions League against Real Madrid, but three managers this season. I feel for Thomas Tuchel in this because he was a class manager. Clearly, there was a disagreement with the board. Graham Potter, unfortunate that he wasn't able to make it work. Going back to Frank Lampard, I've already made content on this. You can't even blame Frank Lampard for what's going on at Chelsea at the moment because it's not his team, they're not his players. He's just been asked to come in, feel good factor, but they need direction and they also need the board to just allow someone to come in with football IQ because they're a club at the moment that's being run into the ground, siphoning money with absolutely no avail and just no path of making it look any better. I'm looking at the team here off to the side and you've got players like Fafana, Badiashile, Chilwell, Fernandez, Zakaria, Pulisic, Sterling, Gallagher, Mudryk. Like, it is a very, very solid team that a manager just needs to come in and be able to get the best out of them. And I think Lampard said it the best, that they're not playing for Chelsea Football Club. And this Chelsea is not the Chelsea that I know. This isn't a Chelsea Football Club that's built on tradition of winning and sometimes actually getting, grinding out results. But, there's no pride in playing for Chelsea Football Club at the moment. It looks like they're just going through the motions and honestly, it doesn't look like they care. Like, the playing group do not care. And I think part of this issue with the board that I have is the length of these contracts. You've got Mudryk and Enzo Fernandez on 7-8 year deals, and if you're going to put all these players on big deals and they're not going to perform, who's going to take them? And any manager that you get is now going to be stuck with this team. But if we look at the stats from the game, you've got Brighton going to Stamford Bridge and having 26 shots at goal. That is just unheard of for an away team at Stamford Bridge to have that level of control. They've had 58% of the ball as well. They've absolutely dominated play. And it's not even just stats. Matoma could do what he wants. McAllister could have had a goal as well if he doesn't drag his shot wide, but he was just picking up pockets of space, doing what he wants. Ferguson, before getting injured, looked good. Danny Welbeck comes on and scores an absolutely brilliant header as well. And obviously that final goal for Brighton was absolutely magic. And although that's what looks to be the winner, and some people might say, well, it took a wonder goal to beat Chelsea, Chelsea just weren't in this game at all. The goal they get is quite lucky as well. I feel for Robert Sanchez there. But let me know what your thoughts are around Chelsea, guys, because there needs to be some significant change if this is going to happen. Now, Frank did mention that he was rotating for the Champions League. Is there any hope for them to be able to get a result against Real Madrid? Real Madrid also not firing in the league currently, but you look at the quality and the way that Chelsea are playing, there's just nothing that indicates to me that this Chelsea team is going to be able to overcome Real Madrid. And if they are, they're going to have to take on Man City. So Man City absolutely flying. Chelsea, their only saving grace this season is the Champions League, and it looks like they're about to throw that away. They've lost 3 on the bounce as well. And they're in that mid-table discussion where, they're not going to get relegated, but who's going to join Chelsea next season? What manager's going to want to take over when you've got owners that are making decisions that they're making as well? The playing group clearly aren't playing for either the manager or the club. This is a very, very big concerning problem that Chelsea are going to have to find a way to overcome because they can't financially maintain their spending if they're not also in the Champions League. So the financial fair play question is going to be brought up with Chelsea. Same way it will be brought up with Liverpool if they don't qualify for the Champions League too. But the way that Chelsea is spending money, 100% would be on the proviso that they're going to be playing Champions League football. And at this rate, it looks like Chelsea aren't going to be playing European football full stop, which is going to put a monster dent into their financial planning, which means that they're going to either have to sell a whole bunch of players at cut price deals or something's going to have to change. They've spent, big money on the Graham Potter. They spent, I think, 20 odd million just to get him out of Brighton, and then they've had to pay him another 50 million out of the 6-year contract they gave him. They cannot afford to do this. So Chelsea, You know, although it's not the Chelsea of old, it's not the Mourinho Chelsea, it's not an Ancelotti Chelsea, it's not a Conte Chelsea at the moment. They're going to have to figure out a way of getting that identity back, because right now, this Chelsea Football Club is unidentifiable to any Premier League fan. What's going to happen for them? They've got some real tough games in the league, which might be a good thing for them. They might need these opportunities to play your Arsenals and some real big games. And I know a lot of the Chelsea YouTubers have been very vocal around their lack of points or ability to accumulate points in these last few games. But maybe it's what Chelsea need. I don't know. I'm going to be watching this one with very, very close eyes on Chelsea, because it's going to be very interesting to see how they finish the season.